This video is sponsored by Storyblocks. What's up guys? It's MABO here. This is my backpack for work. I use this backpack for my camera gear and all my projects. And in today's video I want to share with you what's in my camera backpack in 2021. I'm gonna go through all my gear one by one, explain what I'm using it for, and tell a little bit about the specs. And I'm gonna link all the products in the description so you can check them out. Let's go. So let's begin with the backpack. This is the Low Pro Protectic BP450 AW2, really long name for backpack, but this is a really big backpack, well-built backpack with a lot of room inside. You can just open it from behind like that, and then you got a lot of little compartments which you can change or even remove for your own preference. I'm using the biggest one here for my Ronin S. The Ronin S even fits in here. That's also why I love this backpack. There's also hip support. You can integrate in this backpack for longer distances with another little pocket, another little two pockets. But since I'm not hiking or I'm not walking around a lot with this backpack, I removed it and works without it as well. There's even a rain cover. Here on the bottom you got a little rain cover, so when it's raining you can just put it over the backpack and your gear is safe. You got a laptop pocket over here for laptops until 16 inches. The pocket is not really wide. MacBooks are no problem, but your laptop should not be too big to fit in. Then you got two more pockets here for little accessories with a see-through option. That's nice. Then you have these little side pockets here. I always put in my passport in here, maybe my wallet, some smaller stuff. Now the AirPods Pro are in here, just a little pencil for taking notes. Another one on the other side, same size. This big pocket here above for your camera is even a little bit plated, so your camera is not getting squished. There's another little bag here inside and another little storage for SD cards. The whole bag has some straps on it, so you can attach some further equipment. There are some hooks you can attach, for example one here connected over here. Then you got a little strap and you could put like a tripod in or something else. So overall this backpack is really reliable. I always load it like totally full. It's absolutely heavy, but it never fell on me. It's got a lot of extra pockets. I could fit all my equipments for projects in there, even with the Ronin S. So I can really recommend this backpack. It's a really good workhorse for your daily work. The sponsor of this video is Storyblocks. Storyblocks is a high-quality stock footage website providing you with a royalty-free and demand-driven library, including videos, photos, music and much more. Once you're subscribed, you got unlimited access to all features of Storyblocks. They just launched their restock campaign, expanding their library with footage of underrepresented groups. Check out the first link in the description and give it a try. So let's get to the equipment inside of the backpack. Let's start with the Sony a7S III, my main camera, which is on the top pocket of my backpack, but it's not in there right now because we are filming with it. The Sony a7S III, what can I tell you? It's like my dream camera. Since I bought it like almost 1 year ago, I'm really satisfied with the quality and I could not wish for more. My most used lens is the Sony 35mm 1.8 we are shooting with right now on the close-up camera, the a7S III. This 35mm is really versatile. I love it since it's so light, it's so sharp and it's just so easy to use. Next to it is the Sony 24-70 G Master, which is filming me right now on the a7 III. Also a really reliable and versatile lens for some projects where I need the range, for example events, or if you shoot like maybe weddings or some stuff. I've been using this since with the 2.8 you actually get a really nice bokeh when you're zooming. I would say that I prefer the 35mm 1.8 since it's much lighter. I can mount it easily on the Ronin S with the 24-70 G Master. I'm working also on the Ronin S. The Ronin S actually can handle the weight, but running around the whole day with the 24-70, which is about 1 kilogram, and the Ronin S is actually a pain in the ass, and you don't want to do that all day long. So I'm really happy when I can use the 35mm, which feels like half weight. So yeah. I'm using 2 original Sony batteries, which are in the cameras right now, and I got 2 extra batteries. They are like random batteries from Amazon, Rev Power. I cannot really recommend them. I mean, they work, but they have significant less power than the original batteries. I just bought them like 2 years ago for the A7 III, and they are still working. The double charging port here was with these 2 batteries, I think about 50 bucks. This year I bought 2 vintage lenses, the Canon SSC line. One is the Canon FD 24mm SSC and the other one is the Canon 50mm FD 1.4 SSC. These lenses have a really nice color rendering, really nice flares. They are not so clinical like the Sony lenses. The Sony lenses are really sharp, but these Canon lenses with their vintage feel, they flare more, the skin tone seems softer, and overall I really like the look of these 2 lenses. The 24mm is a really nice lens since it's a wide angle, and I think it creates a really dramatic look. It does not cut out too much environment, and the subject is sort of more connected with the environment. I got this from Emanuel Lubetsky's camera work. Lubetsky is working a lot with really wide angle lenses, and for example in Night of Cups, I think this creates a really dramatic look, and I kind of got inspired by that to buy a wide angle vintage lens. On almost all my projects I'm using the Mavic Pro Mist, which is on the A7S III right now. I think this creates a really nice soft look, takes a little bit out of this clinical digital feel, gives a bloom to the highlights. I think the 1/4 filter is the sweet spot. It's not too strong, not too light, and yeah, I'm using it for almost all my projects. On the A7 III, I got the Nisi filter, which is pretty similar to the Mavic Pro Mist. I got the strength of 1/2 on there, and yeah, it's pretty similar and I like it as well. I'm using all the time when I'm outside is the Polar Pro variable ND filter. It is the Peter McKinnon edition. It comes with this really nice lens cap which protects the filter. The filter is not really vignetting. It's enough for most circumstances. I think it's the lower intensity from 2 to 6 stops, 82mm for the 24-70 G Master, and if I want to use it on the 35mm f1.8, I got a step down ring. This is just a classical step down ring from Amazon for, I don't know, 10 bucks, and yeah, you can find it anywhere really cheap. So I already talked a little bit about the A7 III, which is filming the wide angle shot right now. This is now my second camera. Before the A7S III, I've been using the A7 III for my projects, for clients, and it's still a great camera. It's still really reliable and takes great photos, great video. It's only a little limited in 4K since it has no slow motion features, but as a side camera, as a second camera to film in 4K 24 frames or 30 frames, it's great, and I will still be using it for photography and for B camera footage. So let's move to my editing workhorse, the MacBook Pro 15-inch from late 2018 with a touch bar. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. I got the bigger graphics card and the 6-core processor. I've been using it almost every day since 3 years now. It's really reliable. I never really had problems with it. With Final Cut, it just works and works and works. Only problem that I'm facing now, since I have the A7S III, is that the files of the A7S III in H.265 with the 422 10-bit codecs are just too much for this laptop. It's not optimized for that, so I have to use proxies for all my projects. So it's a really reliable laptop, but yeah, gets to its limit with the A7S III, and that's why I'm waiting for the new MacBook Pro M1X laptops, probably coming out end of this year, so I can edit the A7S III footage without using proxies. So what I also got in here in this little pocket is my notebook. I'm using this notebook to write down ideas, to write down concepts, shot lists. So this is always in my pocket to bring out ideas and to plan new stuff. So let's get to the Ronin S, which takes most space in this backpack. I always demount it so it fits in the bag. I'm not always bringing it to shoot, since I'm shooting 90% handheld and only 10% with the Ronin. Some clients, some events, I really need the Ronin since I have to run around a lot and move around a lot, but for creative shoots I really prefer shooting handheld since it is more organic. To be flexible when I'm switching between gimbal and handheld, I'm using the Kaiser changing plate. You can just mount it on the gimbal, and then I have a little plate on the camera. I can just click it off, click it on, and it's really easy to use. This is the Kaiser 6026 changing plate, really reliable and well built, can recommend. For my SD cards, I'm using like a little pocket which you can open and fold out. That's where I put my regular SD cards in and my micro SD cards for the drone. Yeah, just a simple storage option from Amazon as well for I think 15 to 20 bucks. Really practical. The SD cards I'm using for the Sony A7S III are the Pro grade V90 cards, so I can record in all modes for the A7S III. They're really expensive, but up to date since 1 year. They worked flawless. They're really fast at transmitting speeds, and yeah, I think they're good SD cards, but a little bit expensive. Next up, let's move to the Mavic 2 Pro. It's my go-to drone. I got it since 1.5 years now. Crashed it already twice, but I got the DJI Care Safe, so you get the drone replaced. It's a really nice drone. I love the sensor, the 1-inch sensor. It's the same sensor of the Sony RX100 Mark 5 or 6, I think. Produces a really nice image. What I miss in this drone is that it has sensors to the side, since when you're flying in orbit or something, it's not protected. But overall, really crazy that you can get such a good camera quality in such a drone, in such a small package, and I'm excited what the future holds, since this is already really crazy. The filters I'm using for the Mavic Pro are the Polar Pro Vibrant NDs. They have an ND filter effect in 3 different intensities, but also polarizing effect. So you get less reflection from the sky. The sky is more colorful, and also leaves from trees and stuff. It just takes out some reflection and gives the image another level of punch. Lastly, I got a car charger for the Mavic 2 Pro, so when I'm in the nature for a longer period, I can charge the battery of the Mavic 2 Pro without needing a real power plug. And yeah, that's pretty handy when traveling in nature. Next up, we got an SD card reader, a double slot SD card reader from Angelbird. This is a really nice and really fast SD card reader in combination with the V90 SD cards. It's crazy how fast the transmitting speed is. It's pretty expensive, but also saves you a lot of time when transferring data to your laptop. It works with USB-C, which is also really practical with the MacBook Pro, so you don't have to use any adapters. But coming to adapters, let's move right on to the adapters I'm using. Since not all products are nowadays working with USB-C, I got these really simple USB-C to regular USB adapters. I'm just sticking them on cables like for hard drive or so. I'm just putting them on, and so I can connect them with my laptop. In this top pocket here, I just got all sorts of cables for hard drives, for the Ronin, and just to load stuff, connect stuff to my laptop. I got this little Intenso power bank. It's just a regular cheap power bank with 10,000 milliampere. If I have no batteries for the A7S III or the A7 III, I can connect it to the camera and it runs while charging. So this is a lifesaver in some emergency cases where I don't have enough battery. Next up, we got the gray card to set up white balance. I gotta admit, I'm rarely using this since I'm a little bit lazy, and the white balance of the A7S III is working in most cases, and if not, I'm correcting it in post. But I really want to use this more in the future to have a better white balance right away. We just got a cleaning towel, just a regular cleaning towel. Always good to have something like that in your camera bag. And then I got a little lens cleaner or sensor cleaner to avoid having some dust or some particles on your sensor. Up next, we got the Rode lavalier microphone. This is a mic to use for like interviews, people talking. I like to put it inside of the clothes, just clip it on the inside so you don't see the microphone. I'm using this also for my tutorials when I'm walking outside and showing you how I film. I'm actually connecting this to my phone. I got a little adapter here for the iPhone, and I'm using the audio app in my iPhone. After recording, I'm transferring the files to my laptop. What I'm also using a lot for some voiceovers or some high quality sounds is this Zoom H4n Pro. You can also record sound from like DJs, music events or weddings. When there is a sound technician with a soundboard, they mostly have these XLR inputs, outputs, and you can just drag the sound from them to your little Zoom H4n Pro here. What's not so good on this thing is that the software is really slow. It takes a lot of time to boot up, and I don't know, they could really renew the software in this thing, since yeah, the sound quality is really good. So next up to the hard drives. I'm using for storage, I'm using the 5 terabyte Seagate external drives. I think I got 3 or 4 of them. This is not for editing, this is for really storing my footage. For editing, I got these little SanDisk Extreme SSDs. They're really robust, small, lightweight, and fast SSD for editing. I even put all my Final Cut Pro files on them, my library, the events, the projects. So none of my Final Cut Pro data is filling my laptop. It's all going on there. And when I'm finishing a project, I transfer the library and the files to the big 5 terabyte hard drives. When I'm shooting like a video portrait, or when I'm shooting with models, music is always a big factor to get in the mood. So I'm always bringing a Bluetooth speaker. This is the JBL Flip 4. I recently upgraded to the JBL Charge 5, but I think they're both great speakers. This is even a little bit lighter and easier to carry on, and totally enough when you're shooting with 1 or 2 models outside. Really nice speaker. I got it since 2 years now, and really nice sound even with a little bass. So next up, the AirPods Pro. I just got them recently. I really like how small they are. I really like training with them, and I really like when traveling that you can use the noise cancellation. Of course, the noise cancellation is not as good as with the over-ear headphones, but since they're so small and light, it's pretty crazy that they have such a good noise cancellation. And yeah, I will be using them while traveling to listen to music. And yeah, from now on they're in my camera backpack as well. I got this charging cube. It's really nice for traveling when you're limited on power slots. It's got 3 power slots here and additional 3 USB plugs. So yeah, that's enough to load all my equipment, and it's really nice to have this while traveling. So guys, this is basically it. This is my equipment and what's in my camera bag in 2021. I'm really happy with this setup. I can do most of these projects with this setup. Of course, I need to update the MacBook Pro, for example, since this is really slowing me down in my workflow. I have to create proxies, wait like a night so I can start the next day. But with the rest of the equipment, I'm really happy. I might upgrade with the ultra wide angle lens, since the lowest I have is 24 millimeters, for some shots where space is really short and you want to shoot some nice scenes in the car, for example, or for real estate, like a 16 millimeter or even lower is really nice for that. So I might get the 16 to 35 G Master soon. But for now, I'm really happy with the equipment. I hope you could learn something, get some inspiration. All the products are down in the description. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. You can check me out on Instagram. I post some behind the scenes stuff over there. See you in the next one. Peace.